The Atlanta Hawks have the third overall selection in the 2018 NBA draft. And when you're sitting in the third chair, you kind of have to see how some things play out in front of you. But if the draft goes maybe as scripted and DeAndre Ayton goes number one and Luka Doncic goes two or is drafted two and traded somewhere else, the Hawks find themselves with a couple of options at the number three spot that certainly fit their plan to rebuild. Now keep in mind, the Hawks probably are going to trade Dennis Schroeder. So that means putting a point guard on the board makes a lot of sense. And word around the draft was Hawks pretty enamored with Trae Young out of Oklahoma. Now Trae Young, an electric scorer, certainly does a lot of things that you could maybe build a team around if he ends up being the player you hope he'll be. So there's a little bit of risk. The Hawks are also said to be very high on Marvin Bagley out of Duke. Now Marvin is an incredible athlete, can do all kinds of amazing things, and when you think about putting him next to a John Collins, now you start to talk about a pretty athletic and formidable front line. And then there's Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. might be one of the best overall talents in the 2018 class, but the concerns over his back and the fact that his camp may or may not give medical information to one team over another, do the Hawks take the chance on the tremendous upside of a Porter that may also come with some tremendous risk? A 6'10 kid with back problems, that's a very dangerous stock to invest in, no matter how much he says he's 100%. And then there's the dark horse for the Hawks, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. out of Michigan State. If you look at just his pure stats, he's not going to blow you away, 10 points a game. But when you dig deeper, he's got a tremendous upside, and I like to call him Chris Bosh light. When you think about what Jaren Jackson could be at the next level, a big stretch big man, it starts to get interesting for the Hawks. But again, when you think about what John Collins already is, does that make a lot of sense? The prevailing thought is the Hawks may look to trade down, mainly because they're enamored with Trae Young. So if the Hawks are going to trade down, what else do they get in a deal for the number three? It could get interesting on draft night.